I was wondering, in a time frame you deem appropriate, if you could give the history of the solar system and the major civilizations and races, and especially including any planetary wars that have a major impact, maybe 10 minutes or less.
In the beginning, as you know time to exist, in the formation of your solar system, as your scientists to some degree have figured out, the Earth was the product of a collision between a large body that existed in this orbit and another large body that thus then allowed there to be the creation of the Earth and the Moon as you know it. Now, the Moon has been tinkered with since then by other beings for the purpose of balancing the energy of the Earth out in a variety of ways, but that's another story. In terms of the idea of the incarnational procession through your solar system, first there was the idea of what you would call Maldek in what you now know to be the asteroid belt. And thus then there were incarnations of a different type that took place on that world for the idea of soul incarnations to experience certain things and experiences of polarity. There was great destruction in that experience, and that world no longer exists. Thus then the incarnations moved inward toward the sun to the next planet you know as Mars, when it was capable of holding life forms. But then there was, again, according to the idea of time and space, a glancing passing by a large asteroid that ripped the atmosphere away and turned it into the world you now know it to be. Thus then the incarnations thus then came to be on the Earth when the Anunnaki beings, as you call them, came from another system to thus then inject their genetic material into the hominid species that was naturally evolving on the Earth to create the human form you now know it that was capable of allowing for the connection of the spirit and the soul in the similar incarnational fashion as was experienced on the Martian and Maldek planes. But the idea also is that certain branches of that natural hominid species were not tampered with and evolved naturally into what you now know to be Sasquatch. Thus then you have the idea, continuing the history forward, of the fact that you are all generally hybridized in a number of ways, and thus then the hybrid beings that are the product of the agenda between the gray species, which is a mutated human world from another parallel Earth, and the idea of the humans of your world mixing to form a hybrid species, where these children shall be returned in what you call the future to the Earth, and eventually there shall be the idea of only those hybrids on the Earth, forming the idea of the sixth hybrid race. And once the sixth hybrid race exists in about 1,000 years of your time of counting, then all the different six hybrid civilizations will together begin to blend into a new form of life that we are simply calling the seventh hybrid race. There you have a very brief history leading into the future history of your world. Did I miss anything?
Thank you. That was very good.
Right.
And just the major civilizations that came and went that they talk about.
On your planet?
On Earth.
There are many that you do not know of, but some of the ones you do know of are the idea of Lemuria and Atlantis, as we have discussed this night. There are civilizations that existed in what now is the Gobi Desert on your planet. There are civilizations that existed in what you call the South American regions on the high plateaus. And there are also many interactions with extraterrestrial beings that have taken place in some of these ancient civilizations. There are many other civilizations, including one that used to exist in what you call the Antarctic region before it was covered with ice. There are a few others as well that we will not go